Well, good evening and welcome to the broadcast. I am Emmanuel Ouma, and this is The Insight, where we unpack the political activities throughout the week. And today we want to speak about the playbook of the opposition and the government response towards it. And to help me discuss these issues tonight is Mr. Odoyo Owidi, who is a political analyst and a former chairperson, Lake Victoria South Waters Work Development Agency, and Mr. Fred Osiro, the Secretary General of Kabila La Vijana. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Mr. David, I want to start with you. The political landscape in the country is largely polarized, and thanks to now we have the IBC, which has been formed, the whistle has been blown. When you realize, when you look at the general political rhetoric in the country, especially in the opposition side, do you think that the opposition offers an alternative government with ideologies such that the president asked the other day?
When you do political analysis, you need to look at the timing of the statement, the makers of the statement, the content of the statement, and then from there you can decipher what is going on.
Yeah, so what's going on?
Currently, we cannot say the opposition is offering an alternative. First of all, even we need to ask ourselves, is that alternative really necessary? We cannot be a people that when your car breaks down or finds a fault, you throw it away and start budgeting for a new one. You probably can take time to repair the car you have. But also we need to look behind us and see, where did we come from? Have we changed direction? Is our new driver taking the same path all other drivers have been taking? If so, then what is suddenly so wrong? The only thing that have changed since the last president is the person on the seat. Nothing much, nothing new. I know people have been asking me that Gen Z saw the problem and they went on the streets to fix it.
Yielded.
Sorry?
And the president yielded to their demands.
Yes, yes, very good. In fact, that was very good. That is what I would have liked us to do. We keep on putting the government to task, and if there is anything we want them to change about, they change, so that maybe in 5 years or more, we have a better presidency and a better governance. Because some of the reasons why we accuse the president of failure were things that actually they are before him. There are things he found in place. And of course, I know people tell me, he's the president, he needs to fix it. Yeah. Definitely he's fixing it. And things, government, are not things you can fix overnight, because you know government has a budget once in 12 months, and it is that budget that is used. And the bureaucracy in governments is very interesting. If you look at what it takes to approve something to be done, to budget for it, to procure it, to have it done to the end, cannot be done even in a year in many cases.
But one will ask you, or for example, now we have the IBC.
Yes.
It had to take the Gen Z revolt for the IBC to come into place. You see?
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really. Yeah, I think you need to get the truth.
No.
When we started fixing this idea of IEBC, you remember Azimio went to the streets.
Yes.
And we could not have IBC fixed at that time, because they were in the streets talking about IBC must take this route or that route to have this person or that person. You remember even the rules were changed midway by the so-called, what was it called, that thing of bombers? NADCO. So this is the problem we have. And now you go to blame the government. When the government tries to put it in place, Kalonzo is in court. Sijui who is in court.
But let me see Mr. Osiro come in. Please. Mr. Osiro, is it fair to put all the Kenyan problems into the government sitting today?
Thank you very much, first of all, Emmanuel, for inviting me. It is very dishonest for a very prominent Mheshimiwa like Owidi, who has been opposing government before, to now close his eyes and start now talking about bureaucracy. Now you've mentioned that there's bureaucracy. You know, the main issue that Gen Zs have is that when government makes promises, like now President Ruto came to power because of these promises, you know, he said hustler, he said all those things, then it's okay to make those promises. But when it comes to now fulfilling those promises, now we are here talking about bureaucracy. Who is responsible for that bureaucracy?
The law.
I mean, policies. The government comes to place with the policies. The government comes to place on a background of agenda. If someone, it all goes back to goodwill.
But just come back to my question.
Yes.
Is it fair to put all the Kenyan problems as currently constituted to the government of the day?
I mean, the onus is on the government to listen to the issues that the young generation actually talking about. Emmanuel, we went to the streets. The young people went to the streets, and I speak on behalf of Kabila Vijana. Millions of young people are actually under Kabila Vijana, and the thing that they tell us is that the government consistently ignores and fails to listen. The main issue here is just to listen. I mean, look at Nigeria. The young people of Nigeria, some years ago, 2020, there was End SARS campaign.
Movement, yeah.
Yeah, the End SARS movement. It was an anti-robbery terror squad that was deployed. But then the young people there decided decided to rise above the intimidations and threats and all that. And the whole world came to hear about it, and they ended it.
Are you sure?
I mean, yes, the government there listened. They listened. So it all takes, Emmanuel, just a government to listen. And that's why I would agree with the former premier when he calls for dialogue. Because you start from a point of a conversation, then we listen. Then all these problems that are being mentioned here about, you know, policies, bureaucracies and all that, we can begin to solve those challenges. But it begins from a point of, let's have a conversation.
Okay.
Mr. Wina, I'm sorry, are you listening? Is the government listening?
Very, very much. Actually, the government, depending on what we are trying to sort out and at what level, the listening sometimes is immediate, or takes a little time, or takes a longer time. You people were not there when we were fighting to have a multi-party system in Kenya and a new constitution. The reason why we needed a new constitution, we needed institutions like the courts to be independent, the police service to be independent, and other independent commissions, so that they are not controlled by the presidency, by the executive. And when that was achieved, I was even wondering why you are going to the streets before Parliament actually passed the finance bill. If it passed the finance bills, which you had given your opinion that you don't like, then that is when you go to the street that this is a finance bill we can't live with. It has to be repealed.
But it was
now,
passed on the material day.
That is how you do things. But nevertheless, let's assume that that was necessary for us to go to the streets at that time, and we achieved what we wanted to go. The subsequent going to the streets told me one thing, and it made me even discover that even the Gen Z uprising was not organized by the Gen Zs. The Gen Zs were just the army that was used to achieve it to this end.
No, I beg to disagree.
It's okay, disagree.
I beg to disagree because, you know, this is the narrative.
Don't agree.
This is
disagreeing. I don't.
This is the narrative.
You from disagreeing.
Yes,
Just will give you a time, and you bring in that disagreement.
But you are not going to change.
Just hold on. So
no,
it's a narrative, Emmanuel. This is a narrative that because the young people who can sponsor someone,
we
are in a civil discussion.
I am not refusing you to disagree, but
who
just wait. If it reaches your time,
yes,
you register your disagreement.
Yeah.
That is how people debate.
Yes.
So what I'm telling you, you may not agree with it now, but in the future you'll agree with it. This Gen Z was born at a conference called Limuru 3. I know you don't understand Kikuyu, but I would want you to look for it and have it, some of the excerpts interpreted for you by the people. They used the Gen Z. Why we use Gen Zs on such revolutions and uprisings? Because they do not have the benefit of history to see that actually this is wrong, but it's been wrong like this for so long, so it is not the leader on the seat today who has caused it. But because the Gen Z were the only people who would insist it is wrong and the leader on the seat must go because it is wrong without knowing that this is something the leader on the seat has inherited from the previous ones.
But Mr.
That is why we use Gen Z. Another reason why we use Gen Z, other than the benefit of history, a Gen Z is generally a very reckless person. I was once there. wait. I was once there and I saw one time a guy drives into the university and to us, he has come to take our comrades who are ladies somewhere. And then later we discover that actually it was the uncle or the father. That is, my own daughter tells me, Daddy, you promised to buy for me a car and now you're telling me you don't have money. When you are promising me, didn't you know you do not have money at times? That recklessness is what we use. And that is why 82 coup was led by people who, at that time, they were 20-somethings. And even the revolution that brought multi-party was done by these young people. We say, like Raila Odinga always say, the Gen Zs are the strength of the society. The youth are the strength, and the old men are the wisdom. But sometimes these old men can misuse these young men to achieve things that these young men assume is organic, and they assume it is theirs, only to discover it is not theirs.
But Mr. Deo, you will agree with me, you come from Lowland, that a homestead that kills its what do you call calves and leaves its cattle, that homestead might not have the benefit of having cattle again.
True, I agree.
And now these people were somehow brought together by purpose, and especially the finance
And
bill.
very spontaneous.
It was very spontaneous,
Very spontaneous.
and everyone agrees with that. Although you don't, I know you don't.
was
And I don't because I used to see how they were mobilized on social media, and the people who were mobilizing was Willy Mutunga, Miguna, Martha Karua, are the ones who are speaking on Twitter to mobilize these Gen Zs to go into the city. It were not Gen Zs.
So I beg to ask. So, Mr. Owili,
I beg to disagree.
Owili,
Yes.
am I mobilized to be here to talk about these young generation issues?
No, this is
Am I
about-
mobilized?
You have been done. You had been mobilized then.
Am
now,
I mobilized?
Now you are in here believing this is your
No.
cause.
No. I mean, let's be honest. We are
Even
not.
me, I
we're
was
not-
mobilized to come here.
Yeah, no.
I'm sure even you are called to come here.
But then, when you say something that, I mean, young people spontaneously come from wherever because they are unemployed, because the economy is doing bad, we can all agree about that.
Yeah, we are. I do agree.
Yes, because in fact, the second demonstration that happened after Rex was murdered, after Albert Ojwang was murdered, I mean, he was murdered by his own in his own country. Then the police does nothing about it. So who mobilized this?
There's an inquest going on.
No. I mean, we all know where all this is going. We all know where all this is
they will
going.
go to the court,
So
of
when these people are bitter about police brutality, are they mobilized? Let's be honest. Are they mobilized?
Okay, let me.
And who mobilizes? Then the question is, who mobilizes against police brutality?
Let me.
And if they are mobilized, then we should be grateful for those people who mobilize them.
No,
Because I mean, you cannot weaponize the police against the young generation simply because they're expressing their democratic right. So before you move on, I want to just respond to Owili. Last year, people went to street to demonstrate when the finance bill was being passed.
Yes.
Actually, people were very, very bitter about it. And they warned, actually they gave signs that if you pass this thing today, then it's going to be chaos.
Yes.
The government saw that. They saw it and they were very, very, very relaxed until people reached parliament buildings. I don't think anyone mobilized them up to that point.
All right.
I don't think anyone mobilized them up to that point. Then the government responds, and that's why I came to this show, because we want to talk about the government's response, which is completely inhuman.
Now, in the
Responded with police brutality, and there was nothing. When people were shot and they were killed, nothing happened.
No, there's some inquest going on currently. I think you need to get yourself. The IPOA is doing some investigation. I think, Mr. Deo, you know that, right? In the interest of taking this conversation forward, and now since the young people have come into question, these people are very educated. And currently, there is fear that free primary and secondary education won't be a going concern anymore. The government has expressed fears in that regard. So, Mr. Odoewidi, if the government is saying that there's no money for education, and we have money to
build state house, I mean to build a church in a state house.
No, come on. I'm the one asking questions.
Yes.
We have numerous money for empowerment, empowerment drive. Some widow given 2,000 to take to 31 people, that is 64 shillings per person. You know, where are our priorities?
I know you want to rush there, and I will take you there. But at one point in time, I will want to tell you the conspiracy that the political leaders used to push young people to the streets so that they get killed, so that they get an opportunity to blame the government. And this is not the first time it's happening. It happened even when Raila Odinga were taking Luos to the streets. His primary goal in his house and bedroom is that let them go, let them kill, so they hate the government. This happened even during Jomo Kenyatta, during Mwai Kibaki, during Uhuru Kenyatta.
Raila was there during Jomo Kenyatta.
Even this thing you call, no, I'm saying that thing happened, not Raila happened. Do you remember when Uhuru Kenyatta is supposed to have rigged Raila out? A Land Cruiser carrying presidential speakers was run into a crowd on Kenyatta Avenue. Did you see it?
When was that?
The other election. The
2013,
2017. A person with a State House Prado ran into a crowd protesting. And even the way the media handles, it wasn't good. But let's go to your question, because I know you want to take this forward, about what you are saying.
Education.
Is our priority.
What is our priorities?
I told you here in the beginning, one of the reasons why we put our Gen Zs in front to deal with our problems with the government is because they don't have the benefit of history. Personally, when I was growing up as a student, I went to primary school where you are given an exercise books enough for the subjects you're doing, you are given pencils to write with, and everything else you want. That was truly a free education. As time went on, those who were withdrawn, they stopped. And then we even crossed over now to paying fees. When I was in the university, we were not only not paying fees, but you are being paid for being in the university. We have free accommodation, we have free tuition, and we are also paid stipend for being there. And this
in the university, right?
In the university.
I'm talking about pre-primary and secondary education.
We are coming there. Then these ones went out, and they fizzled out. Even in the secondary schools, we were actually paying fees, but it wasn't much. And as time went on, we began to pay a lot of money. Because those days we were only paying for accommodation. Tuition, we used to say the government has employed teachers and they will teach us anyway. What that means, what I'm trying to tell you, going back to history, is that Kenya has been on a downward spiral. That means the population increases, but the economy is not growing. So as the population increases, the money that we collect from taxes is never enough to provide everything we want for free.
But what are our priorities? Is education more important than empowerment, or?
And I don't want you to mix some of the harambes you see politicians make and the state resources. Those people are using their personal resources. I don't care where they get them from.
How can you confirm that?
I don't think.
Oh, no, let me tell you, I think you people need to have certain knowledge about how the government works. There is no cent that has gone into treasury that you can just go and withdraw like this and misuse. You have to either steal it or officially and lawfully take it.
But it doesn't have to go to the treasury. The former president said 2 billion is lost in a day.
That is the former
president.
He needs to explain to you how that used to happen. But I've told you, you have to either steal it or you get it lawfully. So what the president was saying, that people were stealing money then. I know today in many counties, including my own county, where people steal money most is the money collected from the people directly, which do not need to go to the treasury first. The ones they call on-source revenue. They collect money from motorcyclists on the road, and then because they are the originators of the original books of entry of that money, they can manipulate those books. Or even have half in your governor, this other half is for the county treasury. So that is how you can also steal from government when you are an official. And that is an individual thing. It is not a government policy.
So Mr. Dohudi, you've seen empowerment programs in the country.
Yes.
There have been numerous.
Done by the government or done by government officials? We need to separate them.
Or they are done by government officials, from members of parliament, allied to the government, to members of the executive. It's happening. So do you believe that they are using their own sources, personal sources, to fund those empowerment programs?
That is not something to believe, it is something to know. I know they are using their personal resources. What I am trying to explain to you is I don't know where they get the money. But take, for example, somebody like the president. We have heard it here multiple times saying that the president, his own dairy farm alone, has a turnover of 560 million annually.
We can't confirm
How do we confirm that?
I don't know how to confirm, but
Of
the
course.
media reported.
So I want us to speak on.
If you want to confirm, actually, if it is
I
in
want
your,
us to speak on facts.
if it is your
Emmanuel, allow me come in.
if it
Yeah,
is,
just
just a
hold
minute,
on.
if it is in your interest to confirm, President William Ruto lives in Kenya, that dairy farm is in Kenya. President William Ruto's all businesses are in Kenya. And the people who confirmed it and printed it was none other than the NTV and Nation Media Group. They did, and that's where I read it from.
Okay.
So many of these people in Kenya have so much money, you would be shocked to realize that they can actually give you 100 million every day until the year ends.
Oh, okay.
So what I don't know is, where did they get the money? They say they did their business.
Okay.
Emmanuel,
Now,
let me-
come in. What are the priorities? What priorities do we have? Education or empowerment?
Very good. And I want us to stick to talking about those issues so that we do not talk about personalities and who owns what and who has how much money, so that we do not lose the conversation that the youth are really interested. Now, Odoyo has actually talked about the fact that the young people do not understand history. That is not the problem.
I didn't say so.
The problem,
They don't
you
have
say
the benefit of
they
history.
don't have the benefit of history, they don't have potato. So it is not an issue of history here. It is an issue of, actually the young people understand what's happening. You may be shocked. I was privileged to interact with young people and children, high school. Yes, before I respond to you, do you know that the problem the young people have nowadays, today, and this is what I want to talk about, is unemployment. It's not about history. Odoyo has complained so many times about Raila's failure to understand the issues when he tells us about vitendawili, sijui nini, what happened in the past. People are not interested in that. The young people are interested in issues here, Emmanuel. Just give me time because you gave him enough time. I want us to come back to what the young people want us to talk about tonight, which is unemployment, which is the spiraling cost of living. And according to the 2023 Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, which was in 2023, 67% of the young people are unemployed. These are the people who go to the streets. You cannot find someone who's employed going to the streets. And if they go to the streets, it's actually because they also feel the bitterness of the taxation. So that is what takes the young people to the streets. That is what we should be talking about. Kabila La Vijana talks about the young people, and they talk about the issues of the young people, and that's why they sent me here tonight. Those are my sponsors, actually. Okay. So this issue of talking about historically governments have been failing, governments have been going down, but governments have been coming to place. You did not mention that after Kibaki, there was Uhuru Kenyatta. There are so many things we credit Uhuru Kenyatta for. So many things, including Huduma Center, including the expressway, including all the things that we can mention. And then that was also a government, and it had its own challenges, yet it addressed those challenges. Demonstrations didn't start yesterday. Demonstrations started historically, and I'm glad that is mentioned, the people who fought for the second liberation that he's talking about here. They were not criminalized. We did not say that Raila Odinga was sponsored by someone when they were doing the second liberation. Yeah, so if the young people go to the streets, can we talk about why they are going to the streets and not who is sending them to the streets?
So why do you think they're going to the streets?
I've mentioned unemployment, high cost of living, and the fact that the government, and the fact that yes, and the fact that the government fails to listen to this. You know, it only takes listening. Can you listen to what the young people are actually talking about, and half of your problem will be solved? Yes.
Great.
So Mr. President said that these problems did start with him, and we're taking a short break. I will be right back, and you will have to respond to these questions. Of course, we are still with Mr. Odoyo Wedi here, who is the political analyst and the former chairperson of the Lake Victoria South Waterworks Development Agency, and Mr. Fred Osirov, the Secretary General of Kabila La Vijana, to help us unpack this conversation. Don't go too far. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned as we dive into the vibrant world of creativity and expression.
Practice your work.
Yes.
And when you keep on practice, you get better,
Yes.
better and better each day.
Yes.
And as you get better,
Yes.
you get now that niche of yours. Yes.
What advice can you give to those watching who are in a 9-to-5 job, but they have a gift?
My advice would be,
Yes.
do not sleep on your talent.
Yes.
Just show it up to the world.
To the world.
Whether it is art, whether it is music, wherever you are gifted, let the world know what you are doing.
Which classic artist would you love to spend one day painting with, and why?
Grandma Moses. She started painting in her 70s.
Oh.
And she excelled.
Yes.
As she was a painter.
Yes.
But she started painting professionally
Yes.
well past 70s.
Wow.
And by the time she died in 102, she had done marvelously in the art world.
We are going to go straight to the topic of the day, which is AI in education. AI in education.
AI is called artificial intelligence. I think this is something that computer techs designed to make our life easier.
If you just write everything that's on ChatGPT, when you're going to your work or whatever you want to do, your interview, you're going to feel miserable.
We are going to use AI to show out your creativity. Then that's not really you who did it, but like there's AI and there's you combined together.
AI should be just there to maybe enhance your points, but not just to generate for you the answers.
I think it's like 50-50 because sometimes it's like, yeah, you're just using it to like enhance like your creativity, and then other times it's like you're just stealing other people's ideas. You're not like really thinking.
Mahali ambapo nakukaribisha tena kwa mpigo tena zaidi kila siku ya Jumamosi. Unazidi kuungana nasi.
Ukiangalia Real Betis walianza kwa moto sana.
Ndani ya Sports Sugu, mahali ambapo tunakuelimisha na tunakujuza mengi kuhusiana na mambo ya kandanda. Sababu hapa nchini Kenya, ligi kuu nchini Uingereza, mahali ambapo ni Uhispaniola, Ujerumani, Ureno, kila kitu inakuwa iko swadakta kabisa.
Everywhere, GBS.
Well, thank you so much for staying with GBS Television. This is The Insight, and I am Emmanuel Ouma. Still with me on the bench is Mr. Odoyo Owidi, former chairperson, Lake Victoria South Waters Works Development Agency, and is also a political analyst here to help us make sense of the political situation of the country, and Mr. Fred Osiro, Secretary General, Kabila La Vijana. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with us. Yes. Now, Mr. Odoyo, you were to respond on some of the things that Mr. Fred was listing that push the youth to the street. Why is the government not listening?
I think I'm not even responding. I just want to explain what he really needs to see in them and understand in them. For example, he said there are various issues that have made them mad and they are going to the streets.
Correct.
One such is employment. The other one is the cost of living, unemployment, yes. The cost of living, and even gave me a figure that 67% of the youth are unemployed.
Yes.
And I understand that. Understand that those are grievances that people need to complain about. But I want to tell you that going to the streets, you need to go to the streets for things that the government needs to make a decision and it happens. Not something that takes a process to achieve. For example, unemployment has been with us since Jomo Kenyatta. Forget about Kibaki and Moi. Why I'm saying that is not that it should continue. I am saying that to make you understand that it is not something you use a switch to undo and a switch to do. It is something that policies have to be put in place to make it work. One such policy is to ensure that we have an atmosphere where investors can come and then invest, and one investor is enough to employ 200 people. We also need to put rules and regulations that impede investments out of our way so that investments takes place. For example, this country, there are certain things that I think you should be advocating for to be removed. Like in starting a business registration should be free. There are some very good businessmen. It is money that they don't have to start it. Again, when you start a new business, the license should be free. Because from where I sit, you want to start a business of, say, selling cars. And you don't even have your car to sell. But you want to sell cars, you'll be selling other people's. Somebody wants a business license of 25,000. Where do you get it that you left the university yesterday? So what would happen if the government removed license fee for people beginning businesses? You have the first car you sell, maybe you get a commission of 200,000. The tax you will pay from that 200,000 is enough to cover that license you failed to pay. And when you grow in this business, you will employ Kenyans. But we are in a scenario where you are starting a business today, we want license, we want taxes, there are many things we want. New business should not be done. We will have so many businesses that all Kenyans would be employed, because the moment for every 100 people there is a business, nobody will remain unemployed. But we impede employment and business
through policies.
Through bad policies. Policies geared at getting money today and not waiting for it. It is like a child which is asking you, Mommy, why are you going to Panda and Yugu and we can eat those ones we are hungry? Not knowing that you ikipandwa, they will get more in the future. So those are the things we need to talk about. But you cannot go on the street because of unemployment, because even if the government has listened, there's nothing it can do to employ you now. It has to take time for investments to take place, opportunities to come in, and you get employed. And other than employment, there's something that I listened to. Okay, cost of living. Honestly, whose mistake is the cost of living high? What really makes the cost of living high? Let's say this. The president said, I want to bring down the cost of living by ensuring there is enough production of food, there's enough production in agriculture, so that by supply and demand, the cost of living will come down. And it did come down. But I want to take you back. I normally take you back to Uhuru and Moi era, not because we should continue like they did, but because I want to tell you that the problem with President William Ruto today is a personal vendetta from leaders who believe he should not be the president, he should rather be them. Because these things happened when Uhuru was there, they did nothing. Let me tell you the things Uhuru did.
But
just give me 1 minute.
Just on the cost of living thing. Economists worldwide measures what do you call it? The cost of living using the Consumer Price Index, the CPI.
Yes.
So this is a group of goods taken together and calculated. When you take, for example, the one of the engines of that is fuel. Currently, we are having the highest fuel in the region.
Exactly.
And the cost of landing of fuel has dropped dramatically. So you ask yourself, if the landing cost of fuel is low, then then we are having the highest what do you call it, price of fuel in the region. And then you realize that government sneaks in taxes through backdoors. For example, there was a Gazette notice, I think, an increase in what do you call it? The road maintenance levy. Why is it?
Now, number one, let's talk like this. Something that has appeared in a Gazette notice is not sneaked. Gazette notice is the most public you can make something appear. Even if I wanted to employ you today, if I gave you a letter, official, and you go to work, that is sneaked in. But if that letter I've given you is published in the Gazette, that is now not sneaked in. That's number one. Number two, it is not true that the international fuel prices have come down. They have actually gone up.
No, I'm talking about the landing cost.
Due to the war out there.
No.
And that we know.
I'm talking about the landing
and again,
cost.
each country in the region cannot have the same prices for fuel because it depends in that country where is their key revenue source. You find that there are some countries that their key revenue source is in the fuel tax. You don't expect them to have the same fuel prices as another country whose key revenue source is in a product they produce by themselves. That is something, or is an activity that is highest in that country. So that one we cannot compare our fuel prices with anybody else in the region. We must compare it with ourselves in the past and now. And why I wanted to talk something which I was requesting you to give me 3 minutes. Osiro talked about Uhuru brought Huduma Center, Expressway, SGR, and so on. I want to explain to you something, Osiro. The things that Uhuru used to make us happy were all very heavy loans. Number one was the cost of fuel. He used what is called subsidy. The cost of unga, he used subsidy because we were approaching an election. He wanted to go to the election with good prices, and when the new president takes over, when the subsidies are withdrawn because subsidies are not sustainable, then he is blamed. So the good cost of food when Uhuru was just about to leave was all alone we are paying today. There's something called SGR. It's a heavy loan we are paying today. Everybody's imported good payslip, you will see SGR 1.5%. So those are loans. Then when you come to the expressway, expressway is even worse because it is not only a loan, but it is also a private road. And we are paying for that. Imagine if you are a car owner and you are told, Uhuru built expressway for us and we are going to use it for free. But because you are going to use it for free, let's add that cost in your tax. Wouldn't you make much, much more noise? You don't realize that, for example, somebody like me, when I used to travel to Kisumu twice a week, I used to use 5,000 on the expressway every month. 5,000 on the expressway. Imagine somebody fixed that in your tax. So you would just scream. So Uhuru was very cheeky. And even this SGR is almost a private railway line because it is from Mombasa straight to his Naivasha farm.
but Mr. Nayodi, on the expressway, it's a public-private partnership.
Yes, yes, yes.
It simply means that the arrangement is not that the Kenyan people pay for it.
Who pay for it?
No, when you use it, you pay.
Yes, yes, they're Kenyans. So if you use it are Kenyans.
Yes, so if you use it, you pay.
Let me tell you, let me allow to come in.
Yes.
Because I will still come in.
Yes, thank you. Now, there is something he has mentioned about, and now I love the dimension of the conversation, because now we're talking about the economy. He mentions about the investors, but then I'm a student of business, just like you mentioned that you're an economist. So what are the factors that makes an economy do well? What are those factors that makes investors to come to a country? Peace is one of those factors. May look like a very small thing, but peace is a very, very important factor. Now, if you overlook that and you say, yes, the political stability. Yes. If you overlook that factor and say that anytime there is going to be any chaos, then we are going to handle it like thugs. Allow me to use that term. What do you think investors are thinking about this country? A country where someone can, for example, come to Kenya, someone like Besigye can come to Kenya and is abducted and disappears. A senior person like Besigye, seriously. A country where a son of a CS can be abducted. Then a country where young people go on the streets and the only solution that you know of is, shoot the leg or shoot them when they come to a polling station, to a police station. So it all narrows down. I know you want to escape this fact, but it all comes back to leadership, because everything starts from goodwill of any leadership that is in place at that particular time. Now, also to respond before I allow you to come in, you mentioned that there is some people have some issue with the president because they believe that he is not supposed to be here. No one has an issue with personalities. And this is no. Ruto must go is actually, again, it takes us back to what the Gen Z wants. And Emmanuel,
Ruto is
yes,
personal.
and Emmanuel, we have used this Gen Z term for a long time, and it's scary to now the establishment. I think we should talk about the young people. I think we should talk about the country. I think we should talk about everyone, because when the economy is not doing well, I might be a small scale farmer or just someone who's unemployed who feels the pinch of a bad economy, but although will feel the pinch even in a more serious way than I do. You know, for someone who owns big businesses. Now, and I'm glad that you mentioned about the taxes. Are you aware that there's even a case in court right now about the importation of vehicles? There's the government, yes, the government increased it from 145% increment on importation. So the court itself is now like our only savior, because the young people, when they go on the streets, they're being sponsored. So who sponsors the court? Again, that's a question. So it's a government that consistently, and this is where my point is, refuses to listen, number one. Number two, a government that is not led by people with good intentions.
Okay, let me see. Do you guys have good intentions?
No, don't put me on. I'm not in government, but I defend the government.
Okay, yeah.
So let's start this way. One of the factors that create an environment for business and investment, you said, is peace, political stability. And at the beginning, I had told you how we went through the streets many years ago to get independent institutions to solve our grievances, to have a multi-party system in which we elect the people we want to represent us in the National Assembly and the Senate to talk on our behalf, and we achieved it. After we have achieved it, when we have problems and we go back to the street to create a political instability, to keep away investors, and yet we are complaining that we want investors to create jobs for us, what are we doing? It's like a group of sheep chasing after the tails of each other around a fire, and they will do that forever. They will never achieve where they want to go. So what we needed to do, avoid the streets and choose the courts. Avoid the streets and choose the legislative assemblies. Avoid the streets and use dialogue. But because, let me tell you, for example, the last street protest, what was the grievance? The last one, the very last one, you have not gone back as yet.
Police brutality. Police brutality.
What were we told? That we are going to commemorate Sabasaba. And at least I've told you before, and you need to take that to your next engagement. You do not go to the streets for something that does not require a single moment decision to achieve. Because there is no way you will know that police brutality is over if it were there. And by the way, let me tell you, there is no police brutality during Ruto. You have not seen police. See, I told you, a vehicle from State House carrying the state ran through protesters. And that is police brutality. Let me tell you, when Uhuru lost in 2017, where the Maraga reversed the thing, tear gas canister was fired into houses in Kibra, and a baby on a bed was killed. That is police brutality.
That was wrong.
But also,
This
remember, in the Police Act, Schedule 16, you use that gun to protect life and property. And we have been behaving as if these lives we are protecting are not Kenyans, and even the people we are protecting against are not Kenyans. All the parties there are Kenyans. So it means the makers of the law envisage that some Kenyans would be rogue among the well-meaning Kenyans. So these rogue Kenyans are the ones Murkomen talked about, are the ones the president talked about. But why do we use guns? We use guns because the people outnumber the police 10,000 to 1.
The police is trained. The police is trained to handle protests.
On that police issue, when you looked at the protest that happened on the 25th, on the
24th, okay.
It's on commemoration of the protest of the finance bill, you realize that there's some people who are wielding clubs that were being kind of escorted somehow, if you look at it, by the police.
Yes.
So when you see things like that, and it is a state, what do you read from it?
Let me tell you two things about it. Let's take you, the one earlier.
Yes.
Remember there was a protest earlier?
Yeah.
That after that protest, we saw what happened. Those club wielding people were there. Police was very restrained. what did we see?
The police were not restrained.
What we saw, protesters beating people. You remember there was a lady, the one who was slapped by a female cop.
The goons.
Yeah.
Those are the goons.
That cop was a goon.
There was a goon.
Okay, it's okay.
Yes.
I am talking about
The
the lady who was slapped by the female cop. Was that how a peaceful protest is supposed to be? Did you see protesters chase a policewoman into a lorry and hit her head with a stone in there?
And she was protected.
Did
by
you
the
see
same people.
a protester chasing a policeman along a road
and
then kick from behind?
And she was protected by the same people that the government is calling villains.
Is that really a peaceful protest?
But have you seen a police protecting a civilian?
And let me tell you something the media do, because I have told you, the media is now co-conspirators in the anti-Ruto war.
Even us. Yeah.
I don't know you,
because
I've not been watching you, but there are 3 legacy medias I've been watching. One, there was a program at night yesterday. I think they call it some funny name. They take journalists who are clearly anti-government, and they attack the government from the beginning to the end. This one is very well balanced, because there is one person here to defend the government, and that is what the people want to see. But when you go there throughout, so you told me about those people carrying it. The genesis of that is because the previous week, we saw, me and you, the so-called protesters breaking shops and taking laptops, taking phones, and stoning cars and burning cars. That is why the owners of the city of Nairobi decided to get their own security to protect their business, because the police was overwhelmed.
So then, if people are talking about Ruto must go, then who is this that you say are sponsoring people, and why would they sponsor people to go and rob the supermarket instead of going to State House? So again, these yes, because we need to be honest. No, allow me to respond first to what you said before you come in, because you've mentioned so many things, but one thing that you don't mention is the role the government
discovered you are very innocent in this game.
The role the government has to play in protecting the people, because the police is the state. The police is supposed to protect the
police
people.
Is a tool of the state.
Yes. Thank you very much. Now that you mentioned that they are actually the tool, and Emmanuel, allow me to just weigh in, because you gave him so much time.
No, continue, please.
So when you're talking about this police brutality and how the police is responding, in essence, it's actually the government responding, and it's part of our conversation tonight. Government's response to protest. A government that is so insecure, it will take a government that is so insecure to actually molest, beat, torture, and use the police as a state machinery to control or to keep away any dissenting voices.
No, the government did not beat, torture, or
no. Because when you see a CS, Emmanuel, let's be honest here. When you see a CS speak and he says, "I speak from above," and I say, "Shoot to kill," if they come to the police station, yes, actually that is what Murkomen said.
Just hold on. There was a policy directive from Murkomen days just earlier. Of course, after saying that protesters were approaching, police stations should be shot.
Yes.
Should be shot. After that, there's a policy directive that was released, and he said that his words were taken out of context, and he can't direct a police officer. That's true.
He did it live on camera.
No, even the law does not allow it.
You saw it, or we saw it, I saw it, everyone saw it. Even the young people who were watching this show tonight, they had it. And it took less than 2 days later, then the president also gave his own share of orders. Shoot the leg.
Let me help you there.
So we need to begin to first of all talk to our police officers, because they are trained to protect. Hao wanaitwa kwa Kiswahili wanaitangwa aje? Utumishi kwa wote.
Yes.
But and I like the way you say that former governments, there have been some protest, or that Uhuru's regime saw someone got into the crowd, but we never saw Uhuru come to defend police brutality by saying shoot in the leg. Uhuru did not say that.
Uhuru did not say shoot in the leg.
Matiang'i did not say shoot.
We will bring to you your sons in coffins.
Of course, but when you go rogue, this is what we're talking about. And I think you are mixing
it is when we go rogue.
You are mixing the generation that is called Gen Z, the young people, with the rogue people that you have trained, You give them clubs, you give them rungus to go to the street. When they suddenly turn against you and they go to steal people's and rob people's supermarket, then now you don't know how to solve it because you have created a devil in your closet that you don't even know how to control. So the young people that are going on the street to demonstrate, those people who go to the street to demonstrate, that's what I want to talk about. They don't go there because they are going there to rob supermarkets. They go there, they went direct to parliament. You saw it last year. They did not go to rob anything. They went to parliament. Because they said we are coming.
So this time, where were they? Because we didn't see them go to parliament or state house. Where did they go to?
Parliament was fenced, and we had goons there waiting to kill the young people.
Anyway,
we had goons.
Anyway,
So
you know,
I mean,
Ciro,
let's not be insecure.
Ciro, why I want to believe you are very innocent in this whole thing. Because you innocently say, we the young people just go there to protest and not to do shops. So in your head, those who are doing shops are somebody else. They are somebody else. But you have been innocently incorporated into the game. You don't know who else is going to be there. You remember when you told me to come here, I asked you who else is going to be there. Because if I just walked here, I would find people I didn't know they were going to be there. You also walk into the streets, not knowing the people who had invited you to the streets had also brought other people with a completely different agenda from yours of removing President William Ruto from power. That is what you didn't know.
And the government can always control that.
That is what you didn't know. Number two, what I wanted to help you is this case of more common order or no order. Order or no order does not repeal the law. It does not repeal Schedule 16 of the Police Act, which says protect life and property using that gun. And my brother, the people we are protecting you against are also Kenyans. They are the ones we are saying needs to face the full force of that gun, those rogue ones. But, you see, you people argue like the only people who are on the streets are the innocent Gen Zs who have gone to protest. There are people there who have gone to break shops and steal laptops.
Why are we talking about...
Wait a minute. Yes. Break shops and steal.
Yes.
Burn cars. Stone the police. Those are the people those guns are there for. You who have gone there, clearly having read Article 37, on a peaceable and unmarked protest. Nobody has a problem with you. Even the president does not want your leg or even finger or nail to be shot. We are talking about protecting you who have gone to the streets from the rogues who have gone to steal and to harm you and to harm the police and to cause instability on the streets.
Then that separation,
there's no separation.
That separation,
the police know.
That separation is what the government fails to do. Because the government has intelligence, Mr. Owedi. You cannot tell me that the government fails to understand who is responsible for those kind of atrocities. Then you blame a whole generation because if Emmanuel, if the government says,
no
we know them, we are coming for them. The government keeps saying, we know them, we are coming for them. But we haven't seen any arrest, any political arrest from...
Before we continue,
yes,
the government has continuously said that it is the opposition that are fueling this. There's really nobody called the opposition.
Yes.
We have people, personalities, let's say so and so, so and so. The government has not come out and say, it's so and so, let's go and arrest him. Why?
First of all, fueling protests, you don't have to be arrested. We just net the people who are being fueled to go to the streets to know that they are going to what they are going to the streets for is not organic. There is somebody behind it. You see, but even if we found that it is Rigiji who is preaching that you go to the streets, he has not broken any law.
But arrest him.
But why do you arrest him? Which law has he broken?
Why do you kill? Why do you shoot?
We told you that the abductions are self-inflicted. Then you told us investigate it. We investigated Koimuri until we got his call logs, he's paying M-Pesa, the hotel he was sleeping, who he was sleeping with, all that, and he put on the table. And then the media killed it there. It never went anywhere.
But the media
they never discussed it again. Number two, when we had this boy in Diangui, he himself admitted that he was having good time somewhere. And even a lawyer went to court to tell the government, you must produce Ndiangui. So we have done too.
But why is the government whining about things that they can solve? Emmanuel, why is the government whining about things that they can solve? I mean, it is dishonest.
Let me tell you.
It is dishonest, Mr. Owedi, for us to say that we know those ones who are doing it, and then you don't go for them. You are coming for the young people. I mean, this is crazy. In simple terms.
Just hold on.
Yeah.
I think you need to distinguish between official state information
as
and
we-
political
as we-
statements made by politicians from government side wherever they go,
As
that
we
we know
finish,
them.
as we finish.
If the
Now
police
it's
told
political.
you, we know them, they will produce it. But if politicians go saying we know them, that is a political statement made to make the people in front of them happy.
So you do politics with people's lives? in short.
No, those are politicians. Politicians will always do politics.
Of course, but then there's the responsibility that the government has in place. They are going to be held accountable.
Distinguish
We are not
between
going to hold.
politicians and the government.
We are not going to hold.
Distinguish.
We are not going to hold Rigiji. We will not say
Okay.
that Rigiji was the one who sponsored. We
As-
will
as you
ask
give
the
us your
president.
last word, as you
We
give us
will
your
ask the
last word.
president.
Okay, yeah,
What
continue.
did you
As you
do
give your
about?
last word in 1 minute, please.
Yes. What did you do about the youth demonstration? But let me give my final remarks.
Yes.
I think this debate was actually supposed to be about why are the young people demonstrating, and less of personalities and history, and I don't know, it was supposed to be about economy. It was supposed to be about unemployment of the young generation. As Kabila la Vijana, we continue to talk about the issues of the young people. When we get an opportunity to go to the street to demonstrate, we will do so because it is enshrined in our constitution. It is enshrined in Article 37, peaceful picketing. We are supposed to be protected by the government. We are not supposed to be harmed. We are not harmful. We are not dangerous.
Okay.
Let me just finish. In South Africa, and as I finish, somewhere between 2015 and 2016, the young people went to the street to demonstrate about the issues that we have today, about the free secondary education.
Okay.
Now, then it was about the inequality because of racism, the inequality in the provision of higher education. They went to demonstrate, and I've never seen, Emmanuel, a government that listens like that.
Okay, no problem.
There was no
What about
deaths,
you?
there were no abductions, there was no killings.
We can't confirm
No, I can tell you fact. Check your facts. There was no one who was abducted.
We can't
There
confirm
was no Kasmuel to buy. There was no Morara. There was no Morara to intimidate, to run to South Africa to pretend that now he's telling us about. No. But it was about issues. And
We
those
don't know if
issues
it
were
was bought or not.
addressed.
We
Those
just don't
issues
know.
were addressed.
Solve them, yeah.
So, Ovidi, as you go back, please talk to William Ruto. Tell William Ruto
he's listening.
tell William Ruto that as young people, we don't have an issue with the government. We have an issue. We don't have an issue with personalities. We have an issue with the leadership.
Yeah.
This is about leadership.
No problem.
Because
you
even
have made your point.
Yes.
You have made your point. So, Mr. Widik, you can just come in and give your closing remark.
You know, as a country, we need to understand the issues we have before us. There are issues which can have instant correction. There are the issues which need long-term policies in place to achieve them. We need to sit down as a people and say this is what we want. But the people who sponsor others to the streets, even when they're in the, they will tell you we don't want that dialogue, because the only thing that can achieve their goal is street protests. And let us also not forget that sometimes when we go to the streets, we further destroyed the very economy that is necessary to employ us. Finally, but very important, when you ask us that we are Gen Zs, we are going to the streets to protest peacefully and unarmed, and we tell you that because you are going to be peaceful, we are going to shoot on sight those who are going to burn police station, those who stone you, then you complain again and want to protect your peace. You know, there are times when the media needs to show us a peaceful protesting people, and the moment when the police disrupt that peaceful protest. Because we have seen before, teachers have protested, nurses have protested, doctors have protested with no deaths because they are educated and they understand.
Because there was no threat. There was no threat on leadership.
They understand what peaceful protests mean.
But Mr. Davji Atela was shot by
my brother, even in a market, you will once in a while have one.
No, not an excuse.
No, not an excuse.
Thank you so much, Jen.
Even where there are no protests, people die.
Now that conversation is quite interesting. It doesn't end here. We continue with it in our social media platforms at GBS Television. And of course, thank you, gentlemen. We had Mr. Odoyo Wedi, who is a political analyst and the former chairman of the Lake Victoria South Waterworks Development Agency, and Mr. Fred Osiro, who is the Secretary General Kabila la Vijana. And of course, I am Emmanuel Oma. See you next week, same day, same time.